So hello students, in last class we were talking about what Egyptian civilization, we saw up to their sources and all of those. Now moving on to the political condition. So when you say political condition, how the civilization has flourished and how the political condition of the civilization was there. Okay, the early people settled into the villages. Okay, slowly what happened after all the Paleolithic and everything, people started settling into villages, which developed into later cities. It developed. Okay, then city states were formed. They were ruled by the kings. This is known as the pre-dynastic period. Okay, so we don't have any dynasties. Okay, we had kings, but it was called pre-dynastic because it was into a small what to say states, small cities. It was being there. Okay, these kings were engaged in the interstate quarrels. Okay, so they had interstate quarrels within them. Okay, so they were divided into city quarrels. This made way for the birth of kingdoms. Okay, slowly kingdoms started. Different dynasties ruled these kings. About 30 dynasties have ruled Egypt for more than 3,000 years. So almost for 3,000 years, we have 30 dynasties which ruled Egyptian civilization. Okay, as we move on, no dynasty. Number dynasty survived for more than 6 to 7. No dynasty which survived within any dynasty didn't survive more than 6 to 7 generations. Next, moving on to the pharaohs. Okay, the pharaohs were the kings of Egypt. Okay, they were the kings. The Egypt kings were called pharaohs. They were considered as representative of God on earth. Okay, so they were called as the god on the earth. They were the god. Okay, hence enjoyed unlimited power. The pharaoh means Menes united South and North Egypt around 3000 BCE. Okay, so we had a pharaoh name called Menes. Okay, he was one of the famous pharaoh who united Egypt in the around the year 3000 BCE and made Memphis as its capital. The institution of pharaoh was strong, that the pharaoh had legitimate control over the state and religion. Okay, so what happened is that pharaohs didn't have any strong what legitimate control over the state and religion. The strong central the strong central government with absolute monarchy. So monarchy is nothing but king ruling over. Okay, a well-controlled administration and strict implementations of laws were the basic features. Okay, so where there was a very good administration and strict implementation of what is the laws were there. Okay, the rule of dynasties can be divided into three parts: the period of kingdom, the period of middle kingdom, the period of new kingdom. Okay, so we have three different what to say periods. It's been divided. So first, moving on to period of the old kingdom. Okay, it is also known as the period of pyramid. The pharaohs of the period were very strong. There was the control of elders to advise a king, who advice was not binding of the king. So the king had the what to say elders to advise the king, okay, who advised him for not what to say to not go in any wrong, to take any wrong decision. Pharaoh appointed vizier. So vizier was the prime minister. Okay, vizier or the prime minister headed the administration, justice and treasury. He was assisted by central and local officers. Okay, so you had someone called vizier who will take care of every administrative system, justice and treasury. Then under him you had central and local officers. Okay, in the administration, the local officers collected taxes and looked after law. So they looked after the law and order, whereas the central officers maintained the records and the accounts. Okay, so central officers looked care of the records and the accounts. The period of middle kingdom, it is also known as the period of feudal lords. Okay, feudal lords means we have particular group of people who will take care of the what to say the kingdom. During this period, lords become more powerful than the pharaohs. So kings didn't have any more powers, but the feudal lords have had more powers. It led to many internal wars and anarchy. Okay, so it led to many of the internal wars and anarchy. The authority of pharaoh was restored by Amenhotep one. Okay, so when did again what to say the autonomy of the king came as from the rule of Amenhotep one. Okay, so he came back. He took over. He took again started the monarchy. Then moving on to the period of new kingdom. During the new kingdom, the king raised a powerful army and built a very strong empire. Okay, so he raised a very powerful army and strong empire. Tutmos I conquered new territories and expanded the empire. So the famous king in the third period is the Tutmos. Okay, his daughter Hatshepsut succeeded him. She is known as the first empress in the history of the world. Okay, so the first history of the world, the first woman ruler is Hatshepsut. She ruled for 21 years. Okay. So moving on to the social conditions of the Egyptians, Egypt had a well-organized society. Okay, there were classes and classes. With the upper class, the middle class, and the slaves. The upper class included royal families, priests and nobles, military officers. The upper class lived in the adorned villas and led the life of a comfort luxury. The middle class included physicians, scribes, craftsmen, merchants, and farmers. Okay, the lower class slaves were formed in the strata society. They lived very hard in the toiling life. Okay, so again here you have it is divided. The life is divided into three parts. That is your upper class, middle class, and the lower class. So upper class is nothing but your kings, your priests, your nobles. Then moving on to middle class, your merchants, craftsmen. Then your lower class are the slaves people. Okay, so suffered a lot of what to say. They didn't get any benefits from the kings. Next, moving on to status of women. Okay, Egyptian women enjoyed a exceptional high status. So Egyptian women had a very high status in the society. Such a high status was not such a high status was not enjoyed by the women of any other civilization. So any other civilization women didn't enjoy this kind of what to say. They didn't enjoy this kind of what to say status, high status in the society. That is why Egyptian civilization had a credit of being ruled by Hatshepsut. Because of this is only a women become a ruler. Okay, the first empress in the world. Women had equal share in the ancestral property. So women also had the equal share with their mothers or the father's property. Then you have incestuous marriage were common among royal families. The pharaohs married their own daughters and sisters to prevent their property. So pharaohs, the kings married their own daughters and sisters so that the property will not go to anyone else. And power falling into hands of the outsiders. So no one from outside will come over. Okay. It was aimed at maintaining the purity of blood. Also purity of blood, that the blood should not be mixed with anyone else. Okay. Economic condition. Moving on to economic condition. It was an agrarian economy. Okay, so they had a normal agrarian economy thanks to Nile. If there was no Nile, the agriculture was not prosperous at all. So because of Nile, agriculture was very prosperous. The land in the beginning was cultivated by hand. It was slow and tiresome. They grew crops like wheat, barley, cotton, peas, garlic, variety of fruits and vegetables. So what happened if there was no Nile? Agriculture is not possible because the complete North Africa is completely covered with the Sahara desert, but you have a Nile, a source of water for them, and because of this, cultivation was very basic, and they did like a slow and tiresome cultivation by hand, and the what to say, wheat, garlic were the common crops. Then you had canals and shadoof were used for irrigation. Okay, so they also used the irrigation facility. They enlarged the wool and fixed it to yoke of the oxen. Okay, so they enlarged the yoke of the oxen. It transferred the oak culture into plough culture. Slowly oak culture was converted into plough culture. Ploughing system started. Next, moving on to crafts and manufactures. Egyptian developed a variety of crafts and manufacture. They were manufacturing crafts, stone cutters, mason, carpenters, jewelry, potters, luxury, comforts and riches of life. The metals used were copper in beginning, following by bronze, gold and iron. Okay, so you had what is a lot of architecture, sculptures, craftsmen who will be there. Starting they were using brass, copper, then slowly they move on to bronze, then slowly gold and ironware came to use. Okay, trade and commerce. Egyptian had developed both internal and external. So you had both export and import. Internal external trade was there with the Egyptian people. Trade, they traded with the people of East Mediterranean and Red Seas. Okay, so the nearby Red Sea people, East Mediterranean Sea, they traded, which included present Syria, Lebanon and your Yemen. Okay, so your Middle East mostly. Then barter system. Barter system was nothing but you give me a crop. For example, if you're giving me rice, in return I will give you a sugar cane. Okay, this is a barter system. We didn't exchange with money. We had barter system. Okay, so this is called barter system, where without money you will exchange the goods within yourself. Okay, that is barter system. As we move on, they had trade relationships with Mesopotamian and Asian countries. Okay, so with Mesopotamian and Asian countries, they had trade relationship. The boats in the river, big vessels of seas, cattle on the land were the main means of transport. So they had seas, they had cattle to travel. A variety of tax were levied on the agriculture. So even they were collecting taxes. Traders and craftsmen, which range between 10 to 20% of their income. So they had to pay 10 to 20% of their income to the people. The taxes are collected by both in cash and kind. So taxes, you can give any kind, you can give them any money, or you can give them the crop. Okay. Now moving on to religion. Religion played a significant role in the life of people. Okay, polytheism, that is worship of many gods, was in practice. So they used to worship many gods. Okay, they also practiced Amism and Toteism, which refers to the worship of trees and animals respectively. Okay, so they were worshipping many gods, and also they was worshipping nature, trees, animals, etc. Amon Ra was a King of gods. Okay, so Amon Ra was the king of gods. He was believed as the creator of the Egypt. Okay, he's the one who created the Egypt. Ra was the son of God. Orisis, the god of death or the underworld. Isis was the god of motherhood and the wife of Orisis. Horus, author, etc. were the minor gods. Egyptians built many temples of gods. Okay, so you have many gods, each god having one name. Okay, like sun god you have, then you have god of death, then god of underworld, then goddesses of motherhood in their own names. Okay, then Egyptians also built many temples. They believed in transmigration of souls. So they thought that souls will be there and preserve the dead bodies known as mummies. Okay, they thought that mummies will be there. So what is it? They believed that the transmigration of the soul will be there. So because of that reason, they saved what is it, the dead bodies. They believed in the life after death. So after that there is life. Okay, priests enjoy high status. King was head of the religion. King Amenhotep IV made an effort to introduce monotheism. Okay, monotheism is worship of one god. Okay, in that is Sun Ra. It was discontinued by later kings. So Amenhotep introduced worship of one god, but later the other kings discontinued it. Okay. So then you have something called mummification. Okay, the preservation of dead bodies of the pharaohs is called mummification. Mummy was the home of the person's life after death. Egyptians prepared many years before for the life after death. They removed the internal organs except the heart for the dead body and dried them in the northern soil for 40 days. Then they fill the body with the dry leaves or the sawdust and wrapped it in the cloth. The mummy was kept in a coffin and covered with a cloth which they kept in the book of dead. They believed that the knowledge from the book would help the dead person to get knowledge to go to heaven happily. So this is called mummification, the process of where the internal organs will be taken out and only heart will be left out and it will be covered, the body, dead body will be covered with a lot of manacles, dry leaves, and they will think that if we do like this, the dead body, the soul will go happily to the heaven. Then moving on to literature and learning, Egyptians developed pictographic writing. Okay, like writing with pictures. It is one of the earliest forms of writing. Egyptian writer is called as Egyptian writing is called as hieroglyphics. Okay, glyphin means sign. Hieroglyphics contain hundreds of signs. So they had hundreds of signs to write. Some of the stand of complete words while others respond sounds. Papyrus was used for writing. Okay, so hieroglyphics were the kind of writing which they used. Okay, so glyphic means sign. Okay, so it is like a picture kind of writes, and they used papyruses for writing. Book of Dead, coffin text. Okay, the story of shipwrecked sailor, the tale of Anup Bititu, etc. The important works of discovered. Okay, so what are the books? The archaeologists discovered is the Book of Death, coffin text. Okay, Egyptians had fair knowledge of medicine, geometry, calendars, astronomy, and mathematics. Most of the scholars of ancient Egypt belonged to priestly classes. So mostly the oldest Egyptians were from the priestly classes. Okay. Huge pyramids prove behind the doubt of Egyptians had a sound knowledge of geometry. Okay, so they were keen. They know what is geometry and arithmetic. They could measure the areas of triangle, rectangle, squares, circles, and hexagons. They had clear idea about addition, subtraction, and division. So they had a basic mathematics knowledge within them. However, they had no idea about multiplication. They didn't know about multiplication. They were the first to develop the fraction system. So they were the first to develop the fraction system. So here you have a picture of shadow clock. Next, moving on. They made a clear distinction between stars and planets. Okay, their calendar was based on sun and known as a solar calendar. Okay, so they knew what is star, what is planets, and their calendar was based on sun, which was known as solar calendar. They developed the calendar of 365 days with 12 months in a year, 30 days in each month. They divided the year into 3 seasons of 4 months each. Residing of the Nile stood for the first season. Okay. So they had calendars which they had developed. Okay, then they divided the year into 3 seasons of which with 4 months each. Okay, the first one was rising and the residing of the Nile stood for the first season. So first one was where rising of the Nile. Okay, cultivation and growing of the plants stood second for the third of the harvest. Okay, so third season, like when the plants were grown completely, when it is ready for harvest, they were ready. That was the third season. About 15,000 BCE, they invented a shadow clock. So they also invented shadow clocks, such as Egyptian shadow clock is preserved in the Berlin Museum even today. Okay, priest educated the people at the age of 5. Child was sent to the teacher. At the age of from 5, the child was sent to the teacher. It was given education for 12 years. The temples were the centers of education. So it still up to the age of 12, every children should get education, and also the centers of education was the temple. Education was given by the officials. In 2 2, the education was controlled by the state. Okay, so the education was completely covered by the state. Art and architecture. Egyptians were great builders. They developed fine arts. Their architecture reflected their culture. They built the temples of gods, pyramids by their kings. The walls of temples pyramids are carved with beautiful sculptures and decorated with beautiful painting. They used sandstone, limestone, granite, wood to carve the statues. Their art and architecture survived the below the nature. They proofs of well organized, highly skilled craftsmen and laborers. Okay, so what time they had a good knowledge of art and architecture. Okay, because of the temples and the pyramids which was been there. Okay, the carving system, which is said that the kings were what to say. They had keen knowledge on art and architecture, and also the stones were used like sandstone, limestone, and granite to build all these temples. Okay, then you have this Spinac. This is the image of Spinac. Okay, Spinac, it has the head of a man and body of a lion. Okay, it is carved by the emperor Khafre. It is 240 feet long and 66 feet high, carved in a single stone. Okay, so Spinac is carved in one single stone. It has the body of lion and head of a man, and it is almost near the pyramid of Giza. Okay. The Pyramid of Giza is the tomb of a King Khufu. Okay, so Pyramid of Giza, you have the famous King Khufu's body there. It is one of the wonders of ancient world. It is the heaviest structures ever built. It was built by his son and grandson. It is the biggest pyramid into 746 into 746 81 feet to 23 lakh stones blocks of average 25 ton were used. It occupies 13 acres of area. A million slaves worked for 20 years to complete it. Okay, so almost it took 20 years to complete it. There are more than 90 pyramids still standing after 4,000 years. So in the Pisa pyramid, Giza's pyramid, you have almost 90 pyramids there, which was built 4,000 years ago and still it is standing. Okay, the pyramids are fine examples of the outstanding technical and sound administration ability. Okay, so the technical knowledge which they have. Next, moving on, this is the Luxor temple. It had a magnificent entrance. The road is in front of the line. 365 statues of Sphinx and two walls obelisks stood either side of the main road. During festive season, the statues of God paraded through the doors into the temple. Okay. So you had 365 statues of Sphinx, and also you had where during the festive season gods paraded through the door entrance. Okay. Then how did Egyptian civilization come to an end? Decline of Egyptian civilization. Every human activity with whatever high degree of perfection might have achieved ends up in the decay and disintegration. Whatever happens, we achieve, but it has to come to an end. The same way Egyptian civilization had come to an end. Many reasons were there. So among that we have 7 reasons. First, where the rulers failed to bring a perfect workable political system. So they didn't have a good political work system. The weak rulers were unable to maintain the authority. Control fell into the hands of the feudal lords, resulting in decay and disorder. So what happened? They didn't have a good king after many kings. The other following kings after Khufu, after Titopae, we didn't have a good king. Because of those reasons, feudal lords took over. Then slowly it came to decline. Internal quarrels. Okay, internal quarrels among the kings. They had so many fights which was going on. The ruthless exploitation of the lower caste. Okay, during that time, lower castes were punished very badly, and there was disharmony and disunity because of this. Lot of quarrels, foreign invasions. Okay, many civilized invaders from Africa, Assyria, attacked Egypt. During the rule of weak pharaohs, they destroyed their temples and advancement. Okay, so they had what to say. Many foreign invasion came and destroyed it. In invaders were more efficient in the art and warfare. Okay, because the invaders who had come, they were very famous. They know how to fight a war. Okay, but Egyptian civilization didn't have much knowledge of it. The material welfare and content discouraged the independent thinking. Okay, and you don't have what to say. They wanted material welfare, so what happened, life discouraged them. Okay, because they didn't have independent thinking there. So by this, what happened, the Egyptian civilization comes to an end. Then we have next civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, which I will teach you in the next class.